Hello and welcome to Solden for the start of the 2017 Pro Ötztaler 5500 race. The first edition of this event, 217.4 kilometers. Today the riders will tackle 5,500 meters of climbing with 4 huge mountain passes. The riders just signing on for the start. Good combination of teams that the organisers have assembled for this year's race. Some of the biggest teams in the world, the likes of Bora Hansgrohe, Katusha Alpecin, Orica Scott, will fight it out against some of the smaller teams, such as the Feldemar Simplon Wells team here of Ricardo Zoidel, the local rider, Ilya Koshevoy of Villa Triestina, and Orica Scott's Jens Kukelaar here. He'll be on duty to back up the likes of Roman Kreuziger, Rob Power and Damien Housen. Damiano Cunego, one of the big favourites, comes into today's race with some good form after a stage victory in the Tour of Qinghai Lake. Gazprom Rus Velo. They've brought Sergei Firsonov and Alexander Foliforov to the race. Bardiani CSF, the likes of Giulio Ciccone and Androni Sidemek Bottechia. Marco Frapporti there as a rider always looking to get in the mix. Simon Spilak just signing on here for Katusha Alpecin. He won the stage of the Tour de Suisse here in Solden en route to taking this Tour of Switzerland this year. It was up on the glacier behind us here in Solden. Ruben Plava here for Orica Scott. A really experienced rider off to pastures new next year. And Roman Kreuziger, that you can see here just coming down the steps. He said in the pre-race conference that he agreed to the race before he took a good look at the profile. This young man here wearing number 1, the Austrian national champion, Gregor Mollberger. A lot of pressure on him today, and Bora Hansgrohe will be looking to try and take this race. It's a lot of kilometers lie between the riders and the start and finish. We head out of Solden and loop back into the finish. And Solden, very famous for skiing. It's the site of the opening round of the FIS Alpine World Cup in the 29th of October. The riders just rolling out from the start. Good weather at the start. It's about 21 degrees Celsius is the high today, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. There has been some weather forecast of some potential thunderstorms, but as it happens in the mountains, the weather can change at the nearest moment, and we'll be hoping that those thunderstorms stay off for the riders. Great crowds assembled in the start in Solden. We have the 37th edition of the Ötztaler Marathon, which takes place on Sunday. 5,000 riders will take to these roads, and they have 18,000 applicants each year for that event. San Gimini MG Kvis, one of the teams that'll be looking to get themselves in on the mix. We had the thumbs up you saw from the race director and the official start. The first climb along the route will be the Kutai Pass, and that starts at 21.4 kilometers into today's race and finishes at 39.1. Then on to the Brenner Pass, which is a very famous climb, the Jiaofen Pass, and then the Timmelsjoch, which is a real brute to finish off the day. Riders on the Kutai Pass here, 6.8% average gradient, maximum of 18%, 2,020 meters, and our early breakaway group, Mattia Frapporti, Alessandro Tonelli of Bardiani, Roger Kluge here from Orica Scott, Daniel Turek, Francesco Mancini and Jodok Schautzman. They were clear at the bottom of the climb here in Otz. And already you can see on the Kutai Pass, 17.7 kilometers in length. And we have a prize at the top, which is the equivalent euros to the altitude. And as we come to the summit here, the battle, Daniel Lenner of Feldemar Simplon Wells battling it out with Berdaninetti of Amoria Vita, Nicola Gaffarini crests the summit for San Gimignano MG Kvis in third place. But a good start to the day for the Feldemeyer rider. This is area 47 here in the Tyrol. This is the site for Innsbruck 2018, and they will play host to the UCI World Road Race Championships. And you can see here water slide quite similar to the ski jumping hill, which sits right on the hill here in Innsbruck, and there it is. And this area huge for ski racing and ski jumping, and a great venue. Innsbruck will be for the World Road Race Championships next year. It's already played host this year to the Tour of the Alps, and a lot of riders waiting with bated breath to see just how severe the World Road Race Championship course is in Innsbruck next year. Our two leaders, Daniel Lehner from Feldemeyer, as we head into Italy here, and Ruben Plava. And we're on the Brenner Pass, so maximum gradients of 12%, average of about 3%. It's 34.6 kilometers in length is the Brenner Pass. But let's take a look at today's route. So out of Solden, and you can see heading out of the valley, then into the climbs out of Ötz, up the Kutai Pass, maximum gradients you can see there of 18%. The prize at the top, then a nice fast descent for the riders down into Innsbruck before we start the climb of the Brenner Pass, so the second climb of the day. So expect a gradual wearing down process throughout the race today. 1,377 meters of altitude at the top of the Brenner Pass. We'll then head on to the Jaufen Pass, so an average gradient of 7.6, maximum of 12. So a little bit more severe than the Brenner Pass in terms of the average gradient. Down into St. Leonard's before we will start this real climb, a long one that takes us up to the Timmelsjoch. 6.1% average, 14% maximum gradient. It's a real brute at the top. You can see the snow there on the graphic. There's still snow at the top. A very fast descent back down into Solden. A couple of little kickers right at the end, and you can see there 217.4 kilometers, 5,500 meters of climbing. 75.9 to go. Ruben Plava here, and alongside him Michele Gazzara on the Jaufen Pass. So 10 hairpin turns in total. There's a little graphic there that shows you how the climb lays out on the flat. And your chasing group, Matteo Pereira Fico, Roland Taumann, Nicola Gaffarini and Daniel Lehner, who really is riding out of his skin today, the Feldemeyer Simplon rider. Long day. Up to the front though, Ruben Plaza just starting to put the pressure on, and Gazzara is just dropping back now. It's the difference between the tempo of the two riders. Gazzara looking like he's starting to struggle on the climb, and Ruben Plaza's urging him to get back onto him here. I don't think that was an attack, just more of a upping of his tempo just slightly. It's asking Gazzara to try and get back to him. Up towards the summit now of the Jaufen Pass. 125 back to the chasers, 202 back to the peloton. And that is just gradually being worn down, the peloton behind. But Ruben Plava is going to take the King of the Mountains point here. And the organisers were telling me before the start, they're really looking forward to the amateur riders pitting themselves against the pros in time. Oh, what a shame. Gregor Mollberger here from Bora Hansgrohe, the Austrian champion. It's not his day today. And the young rider is, you can see, fairly upset in that one. A lot of pressure on his shoulders. Not to be today, sadly. Ruben Plaza on the descent. You can see he's hitting speeds here of just over 70 kilometers an hour. But we're getting news at the chase here by Roland Taumann on this descent. Look at the speed now of the Roth rider as he comes up and passes to the man in white from San Gimignano MG Kvis. And he's closing the gap now down Roland Taumann. He's got Ruben Plava in his sights just as they start the Timmelsjoch here. 28.9 kilometers in total is this climb, 1,820 meters of elevation, 15 hairpin turns. And as you saw in the graphic, it really kicks up towards the summit. But this young rider is doing a really, really big ride today. He's really used that descent between the Jaufen Pass and the Timmelsjoch here absolutely perfectly. And that now gives us two riders at the head of the race, Ruben Plather and Roland Thaumann. So one of the biggest teams of the world against one of the continental teams. Behind Michele Gazzara, just having what we might call a little red ambulance there, kind of Coca-Cola, just to try and get a little bit of extra energy into the system. Look at the pace on the front here by Bardiani, CSF, and three riders here that are really setting quite a ferocious tempo. Giulio Ciccone is their rider that sat third wheel there. He's the man that they're trying to set up, the young Italian, but up to the front, and Gazzara has got Plather and Thaumann in his sights, and that Mavic neutral service car just ahead of him. Can he get back on here? He's just keeping his tempo, just keeping it nice and steady. That's a big question. There's a big difference between that and trying to get back on here. Umberto Orsini and Enrico Barban, and Eduardo Zardini are the riders that are going to sit in front of Giulio Ciccone on the front of the peloton behind. Thaumann takes a glance across. You can just see his eyes moving to the right there as he sees that group, and now turns up the pressure. And Ruben Plather, he's been in the lead for most of the day today, and he's got teammates in that group behind. And how many times over the years have we seen Ruben Plather do this, get himself into the breakaway? It just allows him that drift room just to come back to the leaders of his team when they need to. Sometimes he picks up the big victories. He's had wins in the Tour de France and the Vuelta a España as well over the years. But if he can just drop back to the group, give his teammates that are here, Roman Kreuziger, Rob Power and Damien Housen, just maybe a kilometre on the front, to rest the legs. But Roland Thaumann here is maybe looking for a contract for next year. So one of the riders from the smaller teams, the third division of cycling, putting himself into the shop window and trying to pick up a big contract potentially with one of these teams. Plather drops back to the group. This man battling on. He's holding 22 seconds. Is the Roth Acros rider. And look at the legs now of Ruben Plather. That big turn, he leaves nothing on the road, this man. Total dedication to the cause, and that shows the effort and what it takes. And Thaumann about to be swept up here by the group, led by Damien Housen, at a bit of a gap opening now, and it's Ricardo Zoidl of the Feldemeyer Simplon Wells team, the local rider from Austria, that's now going clear with Damien Housen. And looking comfortable, Zoidl, so former rider for Trek Factory Racing, now riding with the Continental team. And Housen, winner of the Herald Sun Tour earlier in the year. He went toe-to-toe with Kenny Ellison, the little climber from Sky, in that race, and he's really starting to develop nicely into a stage race rider. Is the former under-23 World Time Trial champion, sat second wheel here in the blue and yellow of Orica Scott. And it's Simon Spilak of Katusha Alpecin that's now being made to do the work on the front of the group. Spilak, if he wants to take this race today, and good tactics here by Orica Scott. Roman Kreuziger's just sat second wheel. Rob Power a little bit further down the group, and also in there Jan Hirt from CCC Sprandi Polkovice. Giulio Ciccone in the green. So there's confirmation of your group. So it's Kreuziger, Power, Housen, Ciccone. And also in that group, you can see Jan Hirt in the orange, Pierpaolo Figara from Memoria Vita, Ricardo Zoidl, Daniel Geismeier there, number 146, the current Austrian marathon mountain bike champion. He's really putting himself, as I said, in the shop window today. A great mountain bike rider. He's been a national champion in Austria and cyclocross as well. So really showing his versatility now is the rider there from Team Vorarlberg. Back to the chasers, Jose Diaz, Luca Corvili and Hermann Pernsteiner. Diaz on the back here from the Israel Cycling Academy team. Corvili in the black and blue of Amoria Vita, and Hermann Pernsteiner on the front. Pernsteiner from Amplatz BMC. He's had a great season, runner-up in the Tour of Azerbaijan earlier on in the season. And he's off to Bahrain Merida next year. Is the Austrian on the front, wearing number 92 in the red and black. Hausen setting a nice tempo, 16 seconds back from this group to the chasers. The Timmelsjoch climb 28.9 kilometers, and there's a lot of discussion going on here amongst the Orica Scott riders. Here's your chasers. This climb just levels off just a touch, a little bit of respite for the riders, and potentially those chasers might be able to get back on. And Simon Spilak here is just checking back just to see how close they are, and they're about to get some more reinforcements here. And this is Ivan Santoromita that gets onto him. Buongiorno on the back, and Canepa there, number 102 from the Europa Ovini team. So 15 seconds. It doesn't look much, it doesn't sound much, but on a climb such as this, it can still be a real tall order to try and close this one down. He's had a bit of a dig on the climb, hasn't he, Damien Hausen, but now he's dedication to the two riders in there. And Roman Kreuziger, what a palmares he has in his career. Winner of Tour de Suisse, winner of Tour of Romandy. He's won the Amstel Gold Race, Classica San Sebastian, coming into this race arguably as one of the favourites alongside Simon Spilak. And Canepi here is just trying to get on in the yellow of the Avini team. So Europa Avini, they ride a lot of the domestic Ciclismo Cup down in Italy, so good to see them getting themselves out there into this race today. The summit of this climb comes with 23.7 to go, so we've still got a lot of climbing to come. Power, Gesmeyer, Vicara, Ciccone, Zoidel, Hausen, Herklotz, Kreuziger, Hirt and Corvili are still there. Herklotz has actually been dropped from this group. Ivan Santoromita on the back there, the former Italian national champion. And he's working strongly here for Nippo Vini Fantini. Not today for Damiano Cunego. So Ivan Santoromita is assuming the leadership role of Nippo Vini Fantini. Jan Hirt, though, that's in there in that bright orange of CCC. And here he goes now, Jan Hirt. 12th place in the Giro d'Italia this year, off to Astana next year, so stepping up to World Tour level. Lot of excitement around the rider from the Czech Republic, and he's now starting to pull clear, and it's Ciccone now that starts to close down the gap. So the 23-year-old Italian from Bardiani CSF, his teammates did a huge job at the bottom of this climb to try and set him up for this one. And you can see here this group is gradually just being worn down, and Zoidel and Vicara are just behind, and it's Kreuziger on the front. He's decided to come through and start to set the tempo, and 28.5 kilometers to go. So you can see just how much this climb ramps up at the top. And who is going to be the next rider to try and make a move out of this one? Just 4 riders left here. Spilak, Kreuziger, Power and Ciccone. Kreuziger just rolls through here. You can see the difference in the climbing technique between Roman Kreuziger. Look at the difference in the tempo on the climb between him and Spilak in the red, for example. Hirt, Zoidel trying to come back, and Ciccone now is starting to struggle. Kreuziger puts the pressure on again, takes the leading group down to 3. And Ciccone gets rid of the bottle. He looks for the Mavic neutral car, and Rob Power now. Kreuziger really putting the pressure on now for Orica Scott. And his last victory really a couple of years ago in the USA Challenge. And he's looking for his first victory for Orica Scott. on the hairpin. Kreuziger now putting a few meters into Spielak. Spielak drops his head. Kreuziger just took a look around. Maybe this is just a testing attack here by Kreuziger, but the gap is starting to open little by little. Again, you can see the difference in the tempo between Kreuziger and Spielak. 30 seconds now is the time gap between the leader and the chaser. Kreuziger, you can see the choice of equipment today for Roman Kreuziger. He's got that Scott Addict bike with the disc brakes on, so we'll see how that affects the riders on the descent. So in the past, on lots of descents, you can get the heating up of the rims. Kreuziger now crests the summit. 23.6 kilometers now lies between him and the finish. He takes the €2,509 prize here at the summit and will now start the descent. Simon Spielak, as the Orica Scott car goes past him, that gap is closable on the descent. There are some small rises as we run in towards Solden, so it's not downhill all the way to the finish by any means. Giulio Ciccone, you can see 41 seconds is the gap back to the Bardiani CSF rider. That's probably a little bit more of a tall order to try and close that gap down. On the descent, Kreuziger right down on that top tube now for Orica Scott. Lines it up. There's a real long sweeping sections on this descent. There's your leader at the top of your picture. There's your chaser in the red with the Katusha car right behind him. Beautiful split screen here. It's getting late in the day here in Solden. Kreuziger keeping that tempo, rolling that big gear. Spielak is on the descent there. He sees the road kick up just ahead of him, and he sees Kreuziger. As we said, that gap is closable, but this is where it's going to test. When the road starts to rise yet again, those 4 climbs, those 4 massive mountains, will that really affect the legs of the riders? 11.8 to go. Kreuziger is pushing that gap out, 24 seconds. Spielak, he's had him in his sights. You can see now ahead on the road. Kreuziger's no longer there. Into the finish. Kreuziger, thumbs up to the team car now for Roman Kreuziger, the first ever winner of the Ötztaler 5500. It's Roman Kreuziger from Orica Scott. And you see there, 6 hours, 25 minutes and 32 seconds. Simon Spielak, again, one of the pre-race favourites, takes second spot on the podium today. And that'll be a welcome sign now, the finish line ahead of him. The big question here, it's a battle for the 3rd spot between Ciccone and Power. Power is trying to get back up to the Bardiani CSF rider. Look at the face now of Rob Power as he sees Ciccone ahead of him. Ciccone keeps glancing back over the shoulder. He's worked hard for this 3rd place today. He doesn't want to let it go. The finish line is there. 3rd place for Ciccone. Great chase by Rob Power. He takes 4th for Orica Scott. Not to be, he was looking to battle 1st and 3rd on the podium today. And there is your winner, Roman Kreuziger. Congratulations from his daughter. And a sporting handshake, a great battle between 2 great champions. Roman Kreuziger takes it from Simon Spielak, Giulio Ciccone, Robert Power, Ricardo Zordo, Jan Hurt, Pierpaolo Ficara, Felix Grosschartner, Damien Hausen, and Jose Manuel Diaz rounds out the top 10. Roman Kreuziger, what a fantastic day out there in the saddle, but that looked like a really, really brutal day in the saddle. Take us through that.
Well, it was amazing that we had in the breakaway Ruben Plaza, so we could stay pretty calm in the bunch and the other has to work. And then on the last climb, Damien Hausen did a really great job, just keeping calm and going steady. Because I felt a bit that I was having the cramps, but I'm pretty used to to get it, so I was able to handle it, and I'm really happy because it's the first win for me with Orica Scott, and also after a longer time, and it was really a hard day. I would say epic day in Ötztaler, and with these four climbs, and nice weather was really beautiful.
How important do you see this race for world cycling? Because we don't have
a massive climbers classic, do we? Do you see a big future for this race now after today?
Well, it's really nice organized, so it was safe for the riders, and we were lucky with the weather. It will be completely different with the rain or maybe some snow on the top of the climbs, but today was really nice, and I think it has big chance to become the World Tour race in a couple of years.
And just take us through that descent. We saw Simon Spilak coming back on the descent. You had those little rises that are coming in towards the finish that really looked like they were starting to hurt both of you. We saw you looking up constantly out of those corners. Did you feel that there was a chance that he might just make it back to you?
Well, I was a little bit scared that he could come back because I said the last 20 kilometers I had really strong cramps on both legs, so it was not nice feeling, and every switchback what came to get up the speed was really hard.
Well, fantastic job. You're the first winner of the Pro Ötztaler 5500. That must be a great feeling. Well done.
Yeah, I'm really happy, how I said before. It's the first win after a long time and first win with the team, so I'm really happy that it came.
And there's your podium, the first ever winner of the Pro Ötztaler 5500. Roman Kreuziger takes it from Simon Spilak and Giulio Ciccone. What a great race from me, Martin McDonald. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Bye for now.